conditions around him.
How worried are the authorities there of bloodshed if they try to take this complex?
They were surprised at the ferocity of the Guru's followers on Friday when the conviction was announced, and we saw that explosion of violence across North India. And actually, the police authorities...
not going to be taking part in the US Open, so he lost 5 of the top 11. And Rossi, you were at Andy Murray's press conference. He looked emotional, and I think it's fair to say that the press in attendance were fairly surprised at what he said.
Well, I think we weren't expecting him to withdraw at that stage, having been in New York for a week, but clearly there were lots of doubts about his fitness, and I think having been through the Wimbledon experience, where he gave it up...
To die. Sinsa, what's your problem?
I don't know what drops and dust are. Another one.
East Lancashire, West Yorkshire, Greater Manchester, Bradford, Huddersfield, Preston.
Never do something to hurt you, though. Oh, the feeling is bad, the feeling is bad.
From the world's best city in Manchester, this is Asian Sound Radio Network.
Wanted to look into why are so many of these players getting injured and calling time on their season.
Yes, it's the numbers who decided not to play on again this season, isn't it? Novak Djokovic and Stan Wawrinka, last year's finalists, not here, won't play again this season. Kei Nishikori as well because of his wrist. We might not see Andy Murray again this season. And Milos Raonic's future plans very uncertain too because he has a wrist problem as well. So there's a problem for the men's game at the moment. All these high-profile stars getting injured at the same time. A good starting point was to talk to a gentleman by the name of Todd Ellenbecker, who is the ATP's Vice President of Medical Services. And he would argue, and he understands that it's a bit more nuanced than this, but he would argue that over the past year, the number of injuries on the ATP Tour has actually fallen.
In the ATP Medical Services Department, we actually track and study injuries, and this has happened since 2012. We wanted to see, was this something, somewhat of an epidemic this year? Is there something that's changed? We find on the ATP World Tour that our injuries are actually down 6.95, or almost 7%. The difference, of course, to the common tennis fan, so to speak, is that we do seem to have a lot of high-profile players that everybody knows their name, that have these injuries. But as a whole, the number of injuries in our game are not